Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully updated our user, and from here now we can add new user and our password will be automatically generated, right? So here we successfully complete this part. So now in this video, we'll back to our main work, that is our student registration. And for the student registration, I have already created some of the table, right? And as I told you, when you create any registration for this user, that will be inserted three of this table data. That means it will be inserted some of the data in our user table, it will be inserted some of the data in our assigned student, and also it will be inserted some of the data in our discount, right? That is our discount student. So here the three of this field here, I want to insert this data because everything actually interconnected. So now everything will be very clear to you. So first of all, here I created that user, right? So now I want to create another student. So if you want to create it, previously I have already created one of the menu, that is our student registrations, right? So into the student registration, so right now we don't need this. I close our edit, user controller, add user, that is student registration I have created, and there is a sidebar. Into the sidebar I have created one of the menu. I have created one of the prefix menu as students, and that is our student registration. I put the route as a student registration view, right? And now in our web, into the web I have also created one of the another route as a student. So better I want to do and to change it, that will be as a user, not that user, it will be as a student registration routes. Okay, that will be as a user student registration routes. So that will be our prefix as students, and then get our registration view, I name it, and in our I have already created one of the controller as a student registration controller, and then I have also created another model, right? I have also created another model as a assign student, and then I have created as one of the method, that method will be as a student registration view, and that will be our name. Perfect. So now we have to create this method in our student registration controller. Now go to our student registration controller. Here I want to create one of the method that will be as a public, and then function, and then our method. So that will be our method, right? So right now here, as I told you, we have to support all that our table. So here we need that our user table, that will be as a user. So that is in our models folder, right? So that is in our models. So that is in our app and the models. So better I name it as app, and then that will be as a models folder, DELS models, right? That will be as a models folder, and then that is our models, MODELS. I'm a lot of the time actually I mistake this spelling. So that is our app, and then models, and then the assign student will be needed. So here I simply support it, that will be needed, and also we need another one. We need another two of this. We need our user model. So that is our user model. I make it as a user. Okay, that means the user model, and also we need that our discount student model. So better I copy both of these. As I told you, it should be inserted our three of these database table. So for the reasons I simply use both all that our table, that is our assigned student. With this assigned student, I want to insert this data in our assigned student table. With this user, I want to insert this data into the user table, and same as for our discount table. Okay. So now first of all I want to get all the data from our assigned student. So I copy it, and after that I take the same, it will be same. I take one of the variable array as a data, and then I name one of the variable as all data. Okay, I name it as all data, and then with our assign student model, with this assign student model, I want to get all the data. Okay, I simply get all the data, and then we have to return it. Return one of the view page. So into the return view page means in our that is our backend, right? So if setup related everything I save in setup folder, user related everything I save into the user folder. So right now I also want to add another folder for the student. Okay, so into the backend I have to create another folder as a student folder, and into the student folder I want to create another folder as a student registration, student underscore registration or regist. Okay, and then I want to create one of the view file as a student, and then view, or sorry, student underscore view, right? And then I have already get all the data, so that will be our data. I pass it. Perfect. I hope it's very much clear to you, friends. So now we have to do, I have to create this folder. I want to actually separate everything, then because that will be one of the large project. So I make it as a student folder. Into the student folder I want to create another folder as a student register. That means the student register related everything I want to save, in particular this folder. Okay, so into the student folder I have created as a student register, and that will be our file as a student view. I click as a new file. Now click as a save as, and I name it as a student view.blade.php. Okay, so that will be our this view page. So this view page will be actually loaded one of the data table. Better from to the setup, from to the year, that will be same. I copy that view year, I copy everything from here, and then in our student view here I paste it. Okay, so now that will be as a student year list, that will be actually student list, that will be as a student add student. I make it as one of the button will be as a add student, and then there is a serial number, and I also want to display that name. That means our if you go to assign student, I want to display that actually the class ID and then year ID. Okay, so right now actually I use both of these, because with this class ID we have to actually get all the data. Then here also we have to make it as a group by data. So first of all I want to name it as a name, and then also I take another field. Better I take another field that will be as a ID number. Okay, ID number. So that will be as ID number, and that will be as action. And then I have already passed this data as all data, and now I pass it into that with this data in our student view. So into the student view, that is actually our for each, and that is our all data as key, and I name it as a value. Okay, I name it as a value. So then actually we don't need to change it, because every format will be just like that same. I name it on the value, and then our key will be as our serial number, and then the name, and also we have to add another field. So right now I want to do with this value. With this value I want to visible our this class ID. Okay, so right now I visible. Later we will actually change it. So right now I just simply put that as a support. I click as another one as a year ID. That means year ID will be visible, and then also here we have to edit it by a specific our ID. Our ID will be our this class ID. Okay, so I'll do the things later. Better I want to do, and to now close everything and make it as a clean. That will be the edit button and the delete button. Perfect. So now if you click as a save all, and now if you go your site, click as a refresh, and now go to our student management, go to that student registration. Yeah, our preface is active perfectly, and that is our student list is now successfully loaded, right? So that our name will be visible, and then our ID number will be visible, and that is our action. Okay, and right now our data is totally empty for the reasons actually it's become no data available in table, and that is our add student. So from here I want to add one of the add student page. So that add student page will be here. So that is our add student, right? So now I want to change that name. Here I want to add one of the route as a student registration add. Okay, registration, a student registration add. So this type of one of the route we have to create, and that will be obviously one of the get method. Better I copy it, and after this I paste it. So that will be our name. So I name it as a student registration add. I copy it, and then that will be as a student registration add. That will be as a registration add, right? So that will be our URL. That means the students registration add. Perfect. In our student controller I want to create one of the method as a student registration, not the view. It will be as add. So now we have to create this method, and here only we have to load one of the page. I copy it. That will be in our student registration controller. So go there, and after this I make it as a public, and then function, and then our student registration add, and here that will be our method. Okay, so now first of all I want to return some of the page. That means the return return one of the view page. Our view page will be into the backend, and then the student folder, and then I have created as a student underscore register folder, and here I want to create one of the page as a student add student underscore add. So this type of one of the page I want to create, right friend? So now that will be our page as a student add. I copy it, and now in our student registration folder, that means that is actually our student registration folder. Here I want to create another new file. Now click as a save as. I name it as a student add.blade.php. Perfect. So for now, from our year, okay, that means from our setup year, add year, I copy everything. Okay, I copy, select it with the Ctrl A, then the Ctrl C for the copy, and then here Ctrl V for the paste. Okay, so that is our student add. So that will be as a student add student. That will be as a add student. I'm close it, and then everything will be same. Later here we have to actually add multiple field. Okay, now click the save all. Now click as a refresh. Now click as a add student. Yeah, you can see that I'm showing as a add student. So friend, first of all, we have to design our this add student. Okay, here we have to actually add multiple field. Okay, here we have to add multiple field from our user table, assign student table, and the discount table. So how can designing it? First of all, we have to design, then we will insert our this add student in our database. So I will continue this process in our next video. I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.